My people, welcome back. This is another eye-opening video that will stretch your mind immensely as we push for the complete decolonization of Southern Cameroons. Go ahead and share this video with a friend or a loved one. Subscribe on this platform. That is your vote of confidence that you don't just want to talk the talk, you want to be actively involved to bring about change. We are going to listen to Tchiroma Bakari's speech about the recent ghost town. We are going to have Nnamdi Kanu. He has been sentenced to life in prison in Nigeria. There is a lot for us to learn in this video. So grab a cup of coffee, buckle your seatbelt. There is a lot of information for you to get out of this video. We are also going to be addressing some of the questions that were asked in the previous video. The Bamenda people in Norway asked a very interesting question. Was Southern Cameroons an independent state to sign an act of union with La République du Cameroon? We are going to answer that question in this video as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and listen to President-elect Tchiroma Bakari.
November 21, 2025 as a National Day of Mourning. This day will be a public holiday throughout the national territory. No businesses, no office, no administrative services should operate. This will not be an ordinary day. It will be a day of silence, remembrance, and reflection. I invite you to observe a minute of silence exactly at noon, 12 p.m. throughout the national territory and in the diaspora.
Tchiroma Bakari called for a national ghost town while on exile. There are several ways you can look at the situation, but I want to specifically address those from Southern Cameroons on this issue. Because politicians can say anything to trigger your emotions, so you go out and vote for them. Oh, we will release political prisoners. We will have everyone on the table to have a dialogue. They can say anything to trigger your emotions, so you can go out there and vote for them and do what they want. If you were against ghost towns in the Southern Cameroons, after more than 50 years of your people living in subjugation, and yet you encourage others to observe ghost towns because Tchiroma Bakari said so, that is not courage. That is not conviction. That is hypocrisy. I want you to be true to yourself based on your principles. This will give you self-confidence as you move around the world. If you were against armed resistance in the Southern Cameroons, now you encourage others to pick up arms because Tchiroma Bakari was defrauded of this election. That is not courage. That is not conviction. That is hypocrisy. My goal is to restore your self-confidence. You should only change when the facts are presented before you. Many think being born in the Northwest or in the Southwest makes you a true Southern Cameroonian, but that is not true. A Southern Cameroonian is conviction, not place of birth. During the American War of Independence, Benjamin Franklin and his son, biological son, William Franklin, stood on opposite sides. Same blood, same house, same father, but different loyalties. Benjamin Franklin believed in liberty and a new nation. William Franklin, his son, stayed loyal to the British Crown. In essence, history does not call William a founding father just because he was Franklin's son. History defines people by the choices they made when truth appeared. And this is the lesson every Southern Cameroonian should observe. Birth doesn't make identity. Belief does. There are many that have traveled to other countries and denounced the identity, denounced the nationality of their country of birth. And that is the amazing thing about the human condition, that you're free to move to any part of the world and belong. America was built by Europeans, English, Germans, Scots, Irish, who rejected the citizenship of their birth country and choose a new identity. They stood together on one idea. Out of many, one. Most of the founding fathers of America were not born Americans. America didn't exist yet. They became Americans by choice, by belief, and by conviction. In the same way, being born in Southern Cameroons doesn't automatically make you a Southern Cameroonian. You become Southern Cameroonian when you accept the true history of this territory. That is why some of us are in America, but yet we remain connected to that territory. Those who uphold the unfinished mission our ancestors started, that is a Southern Cameroonian. Those who honor the legal reality that our independence was never completed, and those who refuse to participate in the destruction of their homeland, that is a Southern Cameroonian. Identity is not only geography, it is loyalty, truth, and responsibility. That is what makes you a Southern Cameroonian. So two kinds of people, then we'll move on to Nnamdi Kanu. There are two kinds of people in every liberation story. We've studied this across time. Every liberation struggle, whether in America, Ghana, Eritrea, South Sudan, Singapore, reveals these two groups. People who, after seeing the truth, stand for their land. These are the ones history remembers. The second group, people who see the truth, but still chooses to remain on the side of the oppressor. These are the William Franklins, born from the right place, but loyal to the wrong thing. So birth doesn't define you. Your choices do. Let me repeat that slowly. Birthplace doesn't define you. Your choices, they do. So this identity of Southern Cameroons did not start with us. It did not start in 2016. It did not start with modern politics. It began with the ancestors who built this territory. The people who voted overwhelmingly in 1961. The leaders who walked into the UN and Britain expecting a complete process of self-government. And the generation who carries the truth quietly while the world looked away. Those are Southern Cameroonians. A true Southern Cameroonian is someone who continues that legacy, not someone who abandons it because of fear, tribal feelings, or political convenience. So our identity is earned through trust, conviction, sacrifice, and loyalty to the unfinished story of the people. Just as people became Americans through belief in a new nation, you become a Southern Cameroonian when you choose the truth and defend the legacy, not when you simply inherit the soil. Let's go ahead and listen to Nnamdi Kanu. He has been given life sentence by the courts in Nigeria. Why is this important? Because some told me, be courageous enough to say Britain sold us. And there is no proof, legal proof, that Britain sold us. If Britain sold us, the entire trusteeship system collapses. But let's listen to that video. There is a lot for us to learn as we build the first world nation in the continent of Africa. As we complete this process of the unfinished decolonization of Southern Cameroons. Let's take a listen.
God will punish you now and forever. Criminals. Any judgment, let it be on record. Any judgment given in this court is rubbish. Ask him where is the law. Ask him what to show. Where is the law? Where is the law?
Nnamdi Kanu decided to defend himself in court in Nigeria, and he was sentenced to life in prison. I shared with us in a previous video that with a good lawyer, there are cases where you could spend anywhere from 15 to 20 years in prison. But with a good lawyer, you can end up spending 1 or 2 years, or the case dismissed altogether. Let's benchmark this with President Trump. He had several charges in court. You know how President Trump tweets. If there is anything, he goes on Twitter. But he got a good lawyer. And because he had a good lawyer, he was acquitted. He became the president of America. He's changing the lives of Americans as we speak. He would have been in prison, or he would have lost the presidency of America. That is wisdom. A leader of this capacity, there are many people looking up to you. It's not just about me. It's about the roads that we will build. It's about the schools that we will build. It's about good drinking water that we will provide for our community. It's about helping our people have a place they can call their own. With this degree of responsibility, you take care of your own life. With this degree of responsibility, you're careful of how you go about things. We want the warrior. It's the same sentiment that made every Cameroonian rally behind Issa Tchiroma Bakari. Because he said he would bring down Paul Biya. Not because he had a plan. We gravitate towards the warrior. This has been our pattern for more than 500 years. If you've studied our evolution as a people, if you've read the book, Things Fall Apart, go read that book. He was the warrior. If he understood the colonial game, he would have helped his people. But he was emotional. Again, we are not Cameroonians by legitimacy. We are Cameroonians by learned acceptance. Southern Cameroonians. Now, this is what I want you to understand. When people tell me, Roland, say the truth. Say Britain sold us. Be courageous. I just smile. Because courage without discipline is just noise. Do you understand? Courage without discipline is just noise. What shapes me is not noise. What shapes me is discipline, consistency, restraint, and clarity. I learned this from my father. My father was born in 1929, so he's 4 years older than Paul Biya. That is the man who raised me. He witnessed everything Cameroon went through. He witnessed the British rule, the trusteeship years, the reunification debates, the rise of the post-colonial state. He saw everything. He saw Southern Cameroons before the confusion, during the confusion, and after the confusion. He was part of the first group of people to board an aircraft and travel to Panya, what you call Equatorial Guinea today. My father was one of the first group of people to get into an aircraft and travel to Panya. This is the environment I grew up in. My father later worked for the American embassy in Yaoundé as Cameroon was being formed. He ordered books from India and America. My father introduced self-help in our family. He would order books from America, from India, long before globalization became a topic. This is the environment I grew up in. Every single morning, like clockwork, he will follow the same routine. Wakes up at 5 a.m., had a specific spot in his room, attire, and prayer posture, where he would pray for 30 minutes every day. From 5:30 to 6 a.m., he exercises, and he ensures he reads at least 30 minutes a day, every day. Never skipped a day. That is the man who raised me. The same thing Tony Robbins is teaching to Americans today and making millions of dollars, advising US presidents. My father practiced that in Bamenda. Discipline, routine, structure. What America helped me with is to formalize what I learned from my father. This is a predictable pattern with us for more than 500 years. They called us 2 cubes of sugar. Instead of ignoring the insult, what did we do? We rise up emotionally. We fight, we burn places. We react. We fall into the exact trap they set for us. You see, the goal was not the insult all by itself. The goal was the reaction they wanted out of you. So their hope is that you become emotional, so you lose focus, you destroy yourself, you fight the wrong battle, so that you forget the legal case. And when you are done shouting, the incomplete decolonization remains exactly where it was. Nothing has changed. So let me speak the truth to you. Calling me 2 cubes of sugar will not solve the problem of an unsigned union treaty. Say, brother, like Atanganjipo will tell you, we want one Cameroon. Yes, that slogan is not a union treaty. We want peace. Everybody wants peace. Maintain the peace within your territory. Maintain the peace within your territory. But that slogan, those phrases will not change the incomplete decolonization. That is how we tackle issues. So it will not erase the 63 years of legal confusion. It will not change Resolution 1608, whether you call us 2 cubes of sugar. It will not convert a UN trust territory into a French administrative province. Do you understand? It will not complete decolonization. All this reaction will not prove to La République du Cameroun that I am not 2 cubes of sugar. I will not lower myself to an emotional warfare. I will do something different. The one thing that terrifies every system: clarity, evidence, law, discipline, and consistency. Instead of proving to La République du Cameroun that I am not 2 cubes of sugar, because even in court, I will not represent us on this case. I will have a good lawyer. I will tell that lawyer exactly what to say and what to do. I will not. I think I'm emotionally stable, but yet I will not represent us on this case. I'll have a good lawyer do that job. And this is what we show La République. With discipline, structure, international law, and what actually matters when they call us 2 cubes of sugar. Number 1, sir, you violated international law by extending your administration into a UN trust territory illegally. Not by opinion, by fact. No instrument of transfer exists, sir. No signature, sir. No ratification, sir, and no treaty. This is what I will show you. Not proving to you that I am not 2 cubes of sugar. Number 2, Resolution 1608 was never implemented, sir. You cannot override that resolution with slogans, with songs, or insult. Only a treaty can implement it. There is none, sir. That is what I will show them. Number 3, German Cameroon, sir, is not the same as a UN trust territory. You convince your people, because the people that are actually benefiting from this false union is just the government. Even the citizens of La République du Cameroun are trapped, and some of them will meet you and argue, but they don't understand what they are saying. Dictatorship regimes program their people, so you cannot even trust what they are saying. Maurice Kamto has not been able to defeat Paul Biya. Issa Tchiroma Bakari is on exile. Maurice Kamto is a legal mind. I want La République du Cameroun to send me the best legal minds they have. Let's have this conversation and let them explain to us how we became citizens of La République du Cameroon for education purpose, because they don't have jurisdiction to grant us freedom. The plebiscite was organized by the UN, not by La République du Cameroon, not by La République du Cameroon and the UN. The plebiscite was organized by the UN. So if we have an issue, who should we go to? The UN. Not La République du Cameroon. So Issa Tchiroma Bakari becoming president or Paul Biya remaining as president has nothing to do with us. Whether their economy goes up or goes down has nothing to do with us. Has everything to do with them and not us. So we save time, save energy. Invest that energy in the right place. We clarify them. Number 3, we tell them, sir, German Cameroon is not the same as a UN trust territory, as you've programmed your people to believe. German Cameroon was a colony. You teach them grammar and words and the context in which you use those words. Southern Cameroons was a separate entity governed under international law, not colonial law. 2 different histories, 2 different legal status, 2 different destinies. That is what I will show them. That is what we will go on to show them. Number 4, sir, and that goes to the question the Bamenda people in Norway asked. You do not need to be an independent state to sign a union treaty. Let me say that slowly. You do not need, because the ask was Southern Cameroon's an independent state to sign a union act with La République du Cameroon. Sir, you do not need to be an independent state to sign a union treaty. Where did you get that idea from? Because this is what they pitch you with, Southern Cameroonians. And you try to follow their logic and you remain trapped. They've done that. Change the flag, change the stars, change the map, present it before you, and you're following that. You're a Cameroonian, you have the ID card, you have the passport, so you're a Cameroonian. You just follow that logic. No, sir, stop, hold on. Who told you that you had to be an independent state in order to sign a union treaty? Is that what the UN told you? Where did you get that from? My people, as it stands now, today, the UN doesn't recognize that there was a federation in Cameroon. No, let me say that slowly again. The UN doesn't recognize that there was a federal system of government in Cameroon in 1961. If a government can tell you that they won an election in Bamenda after 9 years of pain and suffering, what does that tell you about those people? What does that tell you about these people? No shame. Look at the camera and say things like this. It's a disgrace for black people to become this corrupt that they don't hide it. Tomorrow the West is to be blamed, France is to be blamed, America is to be blamed, Britain is to be blamed. No, look at your own people. As we do this, the goal is to free even our neighbors, citizens of La République du Cameroon, and what this government has programmed them to be. Waste the destiny of their own people. Confuse the entire nation, rewrite history. Program the people with the wrong history. Wrong use of words, and some have grown old and passed on, not knowing the truth. I will not focus on proving to La République du Cameroon that we are not 2 cubes of sugar, or getting frustrated by the question that brother asked, if Southern Cameroon was an independent state to sign an act of union with La République du Cameroon. I'll let him know, brother. The UN Charter recognizes self-governing trust territories as having derivative treaty-making power, and Southern Cameroons had that. Derivative treaty-making power. Southern Cameroons had that. We had a prime minister elected by the people. I'm sure La Republique have never taught their people this. We had a legislature elected by the people in Southern Cameroons. Britain knows that. We were recognized by the UN and Britain. And most importantly, we had the legal power to enter into an act of union through the administering authority. Pobia has never taught you this. Number 5, I will show them that Southern Cameroons had a functioning self-government under British administration. It wasn't symbolic, it wasn't cultural, it was political and legal. The UN acknowledged it. The world knew it. And number 6, our leaders had the legal authority to sign on our behalf. That is the role Foncha was playing. Ayijo, Foncha, and Britain. These are the 3 parties. You're in your tripartite conference in Cameroon. These are the 3 parties that were supposed to sign that union treaty. Foncha and Joa were elected by the people of Southern Cameroons. That election was conducted by British administration under UN supervision. This gave them derivative legal authority under the trusteeship system. That's why I say we have one of the best cases in the world on incomplete decolonization. We don't need emotion. We don't need to be frustrated or angry over this. At the end of the day, what we are going to wonder is, why did people have to die over this? Why did we have to suffer over this? Clarity. Frameworks. Structure. Clarity, framework, structure. Number 7, under Article 76B, we still have the power to complete the decolonization. The statute of limitation was October 1st, 1961. Because some people say, oh, can we sign the union now? No, international law doesn't work like that. That's why I said this is not Njangi, this is not some family meeting. Even in relationships, when people divorce, you can't just say, oh, can we just bring them back together? It doesn't work like that, even on a one-to-one relationship. This is a country. The statute of limitation was October 1st. I told you, Ayijo had the equivalent of Form 3 education, a radio operator. Foncha was the one running after him so they can ratify a union. And he did not know what that meant. So they thought we can just declare a union with a draft constitution. We'll go on to present a flag and map before the people. We will change it. Pobia came and continued the script. So if Pobia is the wisest man in La Republique du Cameroon, So under Article 76B, we still have the legal power to complete the decolonization. Article 76B is clear. The purpose of trusteeship is to lead a people towards full independence or self-governance. If the process is not complete, the right to complete it does not expire. Let me repeat that again. The purpose of trusteeship is to lead a people towards full independence or self-governance. If that process is incomplete, the right to complete it does not expire. This is how you prove you are not 2 cubes of sugar. It's not to pick up arms and fight. It's to prove them this way. That is why President Trump became the president of the United States of America. By having a good lawyer bring him out of a trap his enemies wanted him to be in. He listens, and so he did not let his emotion trap him. Had a good lawyer and followed the case. This is how I will show them. Not by noise, not by insult, not by emotional reactions, not by tribalism, not by fighting their idea of one Cameroon. So they put that slogan before you so you can think about what they are doing. So not by burning my own society out of anger, burning my own maybe buildings out of anger. No, that is not what I will do. You prove it by mastering the law, completing the decolonization, finishing the work left undone in 1961, building a nation, building institutions, building systems, creating jobs, giving our people dignity, standing in international courts with clarity, not chaos, showing the world that we are builders and not reactors. And that is why our brother has been sentenced to life in prison. Biafra is seceding out of a country they are legally part of. But yet I don't oppose anyone that has a legitimate claim to self-governance. Because the question I even ask those in La République du Cameroon, why do you love this union so much? I mean, we don't even meet. Most of our groups, we don't come together like that. We don't come together to build businesses. We don't come together to share ideas. And we don't have a common history, common culture, common language. No ratified union. Why do you love this relationship so much? Put that in the comment section. I want to know why. That is just a point of interest. It has nothing to do with this, but I want to know, why do you like the idea that we stay together? Is it just the programming that government has programmed you that the one and indivisible is a good thing? Why? I want to know. Put that in the comment section. So this is how you show them you are not 2 cubes of sugar. Let's test that logic. If Southern Cameroons lacked the capacity to sign a treaty, then the union with La République du Cameroun never legally occurred. Because no signature is equal to no treaty. No treaty is equal to no union. And no union is equal to no merger. Let me repeat that again. So if Southern Cameroons lacked the capacity to sign a treaty, then the union with La République du Cameroun never legally occurred. So you collapse under the weight of your own argument. Because no signature is equal to no treaty is equal to no union, and no union is equal to no merger. My people, this is the thing. I want you to understand the frameworks that I'm using to help us have clarity. It is coming out of the thinking of lawyers, trial lawyers that have won the American government in court multiple times. Your logic must be consistent. Your logic must be consistent. There must be empirical adequacy. That is, we can go to the UN. When I say consistent, for instance, you can say we entered into a union. I'm saying this for both Anglophones and Francophones. You can't say we entered into an argument. Logical consistency. You can say we entered into a union. We were married. And then you say La République occupied us. So, logical consistency. If they occupied us, that is because we were never married. So we use the word, they occupied us. Logical consistency. These ideas should help you even become a better lawyer, better magistrate, better businessman, a better husband, better wife. Logical consistency. You can't say the federation was dissolved and then turn around and say there was no union treaty. There was no federation. So I don't even get into that conversation. Because in order for me to say there was a federation, that means a union treaty exists. And when I look at the UN archives, I don't see any union treaty. This is one of the cases in the world. Senegal and Gambia, they ratified the union treaty at the UN. East and West Germany, they did the same. Tanganyika, Zanzibar, they did the same. Ratified the union. And registered it at the UN. Logical consistency is number one framework. Number two, empirical adequacy. These are frameworks used even within theological circles. And the same structure apply in court in America. Empirical adequacy. Can we find some consistency with this logic of this flags, this one Cameroon idea? Cameroon is one and indivisible idea. We had a federation here. Can we find facts on this logic at the UN? No. Then the people just sit around and convince you and you run around their ideas. No, stop. Think outside of that box. If not, you go before the UN, trap your own self, and they say, go back and talk with Paul Biya. We will free their own people while we build a nation that we can be proud of and go on to do business with them. This is what that government, starting with Ayijo to Paul Biya, has done to the people here. This is Francophone systems for you. And the last, experiential relevance. When you look at the lived experience of Southern Cameroonians and citizens of La République du Cameroun, you will clearly understand that these people lived two different realities from 1961. They have their own courts, have their own schools, have their own systems, different from that of La République du Cameroon. And that is classic proof that these are two distinct people. The lawyers went on the street. Why? Because they had francophone judges and lawyers and teachers infiltrating into their system. This is the consequence of incomplete decolonization. I rest my case, my Lord. And that is why we are here. So my logic is consistent. Empirical adequacy, I've gone to the UN archives. There is no fact. Experiential relevance, I can see the way the people live, even from that time till now, that they are incompatible. And this conflict started because one infiltrated the system of another with no legal union treaty. Because the legal union treaty would have been a point of reference. They said they dissolved the federation. Which federation? Sir, can you prove to me that we got into a union with you through a federation? And does the UN recognize that? If not, what are we dealing with here? This is how we free ourselves. We don't have to fight. No one should die. I mean, it's absurd. We shouldn't be in this condition. Tchiroma can't help you in this condition. Pobia can't help you in this condition. They don't have the jurisdictional power. If that is the case, then La République becomes the UN. The world doesn't work like that. But this is the big problem. We always focus more on conspiracy theories, like Britain sold us. That's what we focus on. And then we don't take the time and think through our problem, craft it properly, and then follow the right legal channel. We are here trying to understand what they say. I say for 300 years, English is the global economic engine of the world. Don't reason around what a Francophone man is saying. I mean, I respect them. I like some aspects of their culture. We will go on to live as neighbors, but I just want to let you know, this is a historical fact. English has been the language, the software that has transformed the 21st century. When he says something, bring him close and teach him. Like that brother who made that comment. We bring him close. Don't fight him. Don't argue with him. He doesn't know. Bring him close and teach him. Like I've just done today. All of a sudden you start fighting. For what? Why?
Point. Outstanding one that I consider in my program is to come back to federalism. Why not? By the will of the people and by the will of the law.
When Tchiroma Bakari said this in Bamenda, I immediately knew he doesn't understand the history of this country and can't even help us. He needs help, they need help. Do you understand? Now let's listen to Foncha explain this issue that I've already covered throughout this video. Take a listen.
by the will of the people and by the will of the law.
I usually promised that we were coming back, we fixed the date, we were coming back in August to read and sign. And that was going to precede the legalization of the draft constitution. So the very August, I had to go back to him and remind him about the resumed constitution. When he did not answer me, in September, I reminded him, but unfortunately, on 1st of October, I used the draft to declare federation and unification. Cadre of the KNDPA and
He used the draft constitution to declare federation and the union, and they call it today Reunification Day, and they celebrate it on 20th May. So this is a straightforward understanding of what is happening. Cameroon's leaders think they can change reality by changing symbols. They change the stars on the flag. They redrew the map. They rewrite the constitution. They pass decrees saying the country is one and indivisible. But none of that created a union that was never legally formed. Black people learn to follow order, read contracts, understand what those contracts stand for, follow the law. This is not family business. These are two distinct territories coming together in a union. Follow order. None of that created a union. Whether you change the flag, change the stars, these are all symbols that should accompany a legally formed union. Do you understand, my people? Stars, flags, maps should all accompany a legally formed union. A map is not a treaty. A constitution is not consent. So whether they write the constitution, rewrite the constitution, amend the constitution, a constitution is not consent. That is why 2016 the lawyers went on the street. Do you understand? A map is not a treaty. A constitution is not consent. A flag is not a contract. Let me repeat that slowly so you get it. A flag is not a contract. A slogan, One Cameroon, is not a legal act. You cannot solve a legal vacuum with decorations. Oh, let's put the chair. Is it your house? Is it your house? No, sir. Whether you buy new furnitures, new TV, without a deed, without a contract, that is not your house. Isn't this sad? I mean, isn't this sad that people have to go through this? This is exactly why Southern Cameroon's question keeps returning, because the legal foundation was never laid. And with what we inherited from Britain, we think with precision. And when something is not right, we rise up. That is why you see English influences the world the way it does. We are the only group of people on earth that speaks English, that thinks this way about ourselves, feel like a French man, a Francophone man is superior to us. This is through learned acceptance. They've programmed us to think, act, behave, believe that we are Cameroonians. Not through legitimacy, but through learned acceptance. Not through legal legitimacy, but through learned acceptance. Let me leave you with this. You cannot create a union by painting stars on a flag. Do you understand? Let me help our francophone counterparts that have been deceived by this regime. You cannot create a union by painting stars on a flag. I'm a Tikar man, a Bamenda man, a Ngemba man. If a Betty Bulu man wakes up and writes in their law that I am a Betty Bulu man, they can shout it, distribute that across the nation. They will never make me a Betty Bulu man just because they wrote it in a constitution. Do you understand? So my neighbor and I are one and indivisible. So this is what you should understand. A state cannot declare itself indivisible over a people it never legally united with. Let me repeat that again. A state cannot declare itself indivisible over a people it never legally united with. You cannot wake up today and say La République du Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea are one and indivisible without Equatorial Guinea getting into a union with La République du Cameroon, because you were part of German Cameroon. You cannot wake up today and say La République du Cameroon are one and indivisible with those from Chad just because we feel like it. A plebiscite introduced the platform to negotiate a union. Tchiroma won the election. He did not become president. This alone is a classic example for Southern Cameroonians. Instead of clamoring Tchiroma should become president, no, just watch this and let it be a classic case study to teach the citizens of La République du Cameroon that the fact that you vote is not equal to a union. The plebiscite results created the atmosphere for negotiation on the formation of the union. The plebiscite itself is not a union treaty. I rest my case, my lord. That is why Fumban was organized, so that the conversations, the negotiation on the formation of that union can start. They were supposed to have even tripartite conferences with Britain so that they can go on to sign the union. You've heard what Foncha said. Are you guys understanding this? I mean, is it making sense? Yeah, so all these conferences happened because the plebiscite created the opportunity for the negotiation to create a union. The plebiscite itself is not a union. Tchiroma, the popular vote, people voted Tchiroma Bakari, doesn't automatically makes him the president. So he's on exile. So you guys cannot extend your administration into Southern Cameroons because the people voted to join. There is a due process that will lead to the installation of Tchiroma Bakari. And whether that process is corrupt, that is a story of another day. Let this be a case study for them. You cannot erase history by redrawing a map. You cannot impose unity by declaring one and indivisible over a people you never signed a treaty with. Life doesn't work like that. What you guys are trying to do is really absurd, especially the fact that we live in the 21st century. It's really absurd to think about it. But I don't blame the citizens of La République du Cameroon. I understand what the people that have been benefiting from this manipulation are doing. So we smile over it, but we bring about clarity so that their own people don't continue in ignorance. Imagine the kind of history they've taught their people. If you can have a francophone engage in a conversation with you and think this way, so he has been programmed and sent out as a messenger of that idea that Paul Biya programmed them with. Started with Aijo.
Try to scatter all and make some other laws which will make him the supreme president.
You've heard it all. No union treaty exists. No document in the UN treaty series, the UK archives, Cameroon archives, the AU records. This is empirical proof that there was never a union treaty between Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. Now we have clarity to make progress and understand who we are and who citizens of La République are. We don't have to fight over this. So the claim that Southern Cameroon was not independent doesn't match the historical data, because the UN required treaty signatures from self-governing territories. We should cherish knowledge and let it free us from ignorance. As black people in this area, after more than 500 years of interacting with these white folks, let's do the right thing. Demonstrate maturity. We claim that civilization started in Africa. Today we have to be running to the West. We cannot be honest with each other. Some of you run away from your own country, the country you were claiming that you wanted independence in. Today you find safety and a better life in the country of those you used to call your oppressors. Something is wrong. Let's do the right thing. Today you cannot speak in the country you were clamoring you wanted independence in. You are free to speak in the country of your oppressors. Something is wrong. And we have people enforcing that system. I said, a dictatorship machine can't work without the cooperation of millions of people. Let us change this moving forward. And you've seen it. It's not about being loud and being courageous or having a gun. That helps you free your people. Clarity. They call me 2 cubes of sugar. Oh, you call me 2 cubes of sugar. And I'll leave you with this. There is a difference between Michael Jordan and Michael Dell. Michael Jordan was the warrior. When we see our superstars in those leagues in Europe, we're like, oh yeah, we see our own in there. Michael Dell created a system, the Dell computer, that is distributed globally. That system produces revenue. Even when he's dead and gone, his family will still feed out of that system. Let's start thinking in systems instead of this warrior type thinking that only produces oponkos. Let's start thinking in a way that we can produce systems that outlive us. That is the next stage for us as black people in this area. This is not just about Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. This is something black people in general in sub-Saharan Africa have to start practicing moving forward. Look at the entire North Africa gone. Arabs have occupied North Africa, pushed you down here. You can't live with each other and be honest. You have to fight with a brother because he will see blue and call it white. And we are fighting, people dying over that. Let's stop this nonsense.